Today I'm going to be talking about something that doesn't make me thrilled to talk about. I actually meant to talk about this when it was super new news, but I kind of forgot to make the video, so that's on me. But I still want to talk about it either way, because Call of Duty is one of those franchises that's near and dear to my heart. One of the first games I ever played on Xbox Live was Modern Warfare 2, and I remember playing zombies on World at War. So I've been playing this game for over a decade now, and even when it's a garbage Call of Duty, usually I'll get into it and play through the first Prestige and multiplayer. And listen, I'm not gonna lie, the series has had some stinkers lately. Cold War was probably the last decent Call of Duty, and it wasn't even that sick. Like, I've been playing zombies lately, but it wasn't an incredible game. Modern Warfare 2019 was solid, I'm not gonna lie. But the last time they had like a super incredible Call of Duty has been a minute. And obviously, they've been able to coast on that popularity of what the franchise used to be. Warzone definitely brought a lot of new people into the fold, but it's looking like the decline of Call of Duty gameplay is finally starting to catch up with them. And like I said, I'm not trying to dumpster on it too hard. I give them my money every year, you know? I do like the franchise. But I can't lie and say that, like, no, the last few Call of Duties have been the best in the series, because they just haven't been. Call of Duty has lost 50 million players in 1 year. You know, I think Cold War and the way that they integrated it into Warzone probably kept the player numbers relatively stable. Warzone was hugely popular when it came out. I know it's naturally probably not as popular now, just because when games start to be a few years old, they're not at their peak popularity. But what's really surprising is that, you know, they thought player numbers weren't going to suffer with how bad Vanguard is. And I do have Vanguard. I played like 4 matches of multiplayer. It was the first Call of Duty I didn't get into the multiplayer at all, because it was just not very good, man. And when you release a game that's not very good and not what people have been asking for or wanting, I don't know what they expected to happen other than the player numbers going down. You know, everyone's like, oh yeah, Warzone is the new thing that we love about Call of Duty, and I'm not a huge Warzone player, and they're like, all right, a World War II shooter it is. And on top of just seeming like dramatically out of touch with what the players want, I'm not surprised the player numbers are going down, because everything in this game just costs money, and at a certain point it starts to turn off people to the game. Listen, I understand that you don't need to buy cosmetics in Call of Duty, but I was watching an Optimus video about like some weapon pack that they released in Vanguard that cost $50 by itself, and he brought up that in Black Ops 2, you know, you could buy those skin packs for $2 and they'd go on every gun in the game. And I think when you start charging people $20, $30 for a decent weapon skin that I have to use their attachments on, yeah, it starts to get annoying. And I can see, you know, if you're not in a position to be blowing a lot of money on stupid weapon skins, that eventually it would start to turn you off to the game. Especially because everybody else is running around with all those weapon skins dumpstering you, because they've confirmed at this point that Activision has put it into matchmaking, that you're gonna play against people that have spent money in the game that are better than you to make you think that you need to spend money on the game to be better. It's just like somewhere along the line they stopped trying to make Call of Duty fun and just started trying to milk it for as much money as humanly possible, which is fine. Listen, get your bag up, but you gotta understand that eventually if you're purely focused on the bag, that people are gonna stop playing the game. Call of Duty is bleeding players, according to Activision's first 2022 investor report published today. Users across Call of Duty games plummeted throughout 2021 and 2022. The series, which in 2021 reached 150 million monthly active users thanks to Warzone's immense popularity, has steadily lost 50 million players in a year. Alright, so like I said, I'm not a huge Warzone guy. I know that their updates haven't been the best just based on like what I've seen from people talking about it. I know they have a bad hacking problem, so that's definitely not helping popularity, but I also feel like it can't shoulder all the blame because it was kind of carrying the franchise that wasn't doing too hot for a bit already. And on top of it, it's just getting old. I think the entire Battle Royale franchise is not at its peak that it was with like Fortnite, PUBG, Warzone, you know, all popping off at the same time. I think people naturally are going to stop playing the game after it's been out for a few years. And listen, it's still one of the most popular games out. I'm not saying that Warzone is dead. I just think it's like a little bit of writing on the wall that player numbers are dropping and the studio seems a little bit out of touch on how to fix it. I mean, the last few updates have seemed like a lot of people haven't been too happy with it, and at some point you think somebody would figure out that they're not doing something right. But no, instead it seems like every month more and more people are leaving Warzone because the problems just don't seem to be fixed. And listen, I understand that when you're dealing with a free-to-play game, it's hard to prevent hacking just because people can always make a new account. But I don't know, you guys have to figure out something because your player numbers are going to keep declining if the main multiplayer game isn't that great, which Vanguard isn't that great. And on top of it, you're not spending too much time actually fixing the things people are unhappy about in Warzone. So like, what are you guys working on? You know, if the multiplayer was garbage and you guys were focusing on Warzone because it makes money, I get it. You guys got to get the bag. That being said, when both of them are in a state of disrepair, what are you guys working on? Now Call of Duty has around 100 million players, and that's still a whole lot of people, but it's the steepest decline the series has seen since Warzone released in 2020. Activision is attributing the sharp fall to disappointing sales for Vanguard and lower engagement in Warzone. Activision, as mentioned, Vanguard's lower than usual sales before, but considering Warzone is free to play and likely represents the biggest chunk of the players, it probably deserves a lot of the blame. I mean, obviously they should fix Warzone. It is the reason that they have 100 million players, you know, but I do think at the same time, one of the things that would keep people playing Warzone is if the new game and the content you were adding made more sense. The reason Vanguard sales were so poor is because the game is dookie poo-poo. You know, I'm not saying that like the other games that came before it were illustrious works of art, masterpieces even. But at the same time, Warzone did take over 2020, and while they should be making it better, if they had kept updating it with good updates and better content from the new game, maybe people would be a little bit more patient with the state of Warzone if there was a multiplayer experience that was somewhat enjoyable too. And don't even get me started on Vanguard Zombies. I mean, I've used it for gameplay, but my goodness, you want to talk about a snore fest? Like, that's what's frustrating. If they were doing something insanely right, you could kind of excuse a little bit. But when every part of Call of Duty is just kind of half in the dumpster, you can't ignore that it smells like trash anymore. You can dress a turd up in a Gucci suit, but at the end of the day, it's still a turd. And I know that they're putting a lot of pressure on the next game to come out. I think it's like Modern Warfare 2, but not MW2, like Modern Warfare 2019 2. And I think there should be a lot of pressure on that game because I think Warzone and Call of Duty in general is going to get themselves into a very tricky spot if that game sucks. You know, like one stinker, okay, people will kind of come back from that. They've done it before. They've shown they can revitalize the series. But if you've already lost a third of your player base in the last year, that's a pretty large amount. 33% of people have given up on your franchise. And then you release another stinker and you lose another 33%. Sure, I'm not saying that even if they're down 66% from their peak, it's not a lot of people, but I think it's way harder to dig out of the hole the more dead and irrelevant your game becomes. You know what I'm saying? If they don't get something to revitalize it in the next year or two, then they're really going to be in a crappy situation. Warzone's decline won't come as a surprise to the average Warzone player. The 50 million drop reflects what has been a disappointing year of updates to the game, including boring seasonal additions, disruptive balancing problems, and a new map that launched with game-breaking bugs that wouldn't be fixed for weeks. Honestly, I don't know if this is what's happening, it's just how it feels. It feels like Activision just assumes the average Call of Duty player has the IQ of like a light bulb, you know, nothing. Because they're like, well, whatever, we can release garbage and it doesn't even matter because these people are dumb. Like, why would you release a map that obviously has game-breaking bugs? You guys definitely had to have known about it, and if you didn't, then like, are you not playtesting anything? And on top of it, if Warzone is your money machine, that thing is printing money, right? I think priority number one would be fixing the map that you just released if it has a bunch of game-breaking bugs. Like, what is going on where it's taking weeks? And I understand that obviously developers can only work so much, but it's seeming like it might be a situation where Activision is like, whatever, pump out as much content as possible, because these idiots will play anything. And in reality, it's becoming more and more obvious that it's just a money milking machine. Truthfully, is there nobody at Call of Duty that's like in charge of community outreach? You know, is there nobody that's like, wow, guys, they really hate that we did this. Maybe we shouldn't do it. Like, every game has a bad update every now and then, but I've never seen a game just have so many updates back to back to back that seems so unpopular. And like I said, I'm not some Warzone guru expert, but when you see a bunch of streamers leaving the game, you know, people complaining about hackers all the time, the new map doesn't work, the updates are boring, you'd think at some point you would rework their strategy for the future of the game, but they're like, who cares? Apparently 50 million people, and as for the 100 million that are still playing, that number will continue to shrink. And listen, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm gonna quit Call of Duty, okay? I'm a loser, I love the franchise too much, I'll probably buy it at the bare minimum. Even if the next Call of Duty sucks, I can make a video complaining about it. But if they don't fix something, then I think a lot more players are going to leave, and the more players that leave, the harder that hole is to get out of. Activision increasingly seems to be banking its hopes on Infinity Ward, the fan-favorite Call of Duty developer. The studio is working on a sequel to Modern Warfare 2019 coming later this year, as well as spearheading a sequel to Warzone made from the ground up on an engine powering the next Modern Warfare. Alright, so obviously they're going to try to hype up the crap out of this next release to get some people back, and I will say it will be interesting to see what the new engine feels like and looks like. I think the original Warzone engine was different than the original Call of Duty engine that I had been familiar with, but I do like the way it looks, I like the way it feels, so I'm assuming that it's going to just be an improvement on what we already have, which definitely would make me play the game a little bit more, I'm not gonna lie. That being said, I do think it's quite a bit of pressure to put on Infinity Ward, because let's not forget, Infinity Ward themselves has a 50-50 track record. You know, I think they've made some of the best Call of Duties of all time, don't get it twisted. Original Modern Warfare, goated. Modern Warfare 2, goated. Modern Warfare 3, goated. Ghosts, Infinite Warfare, dookie poo-poo, you know, 2019, solid. The one thing that is scary about hyping things up this much in terms of it's going to be a new engine from the ground up, it's going to be awesome, you guys are going to love it, is if it's bad, then it's going to be like embarrassingly bad. I think the Infinity Ward trailer for Infinite Warfare, right, because they made that one, was one of the most disliked YouTube videos in history for a while. That's how much people were not thrilled about that game. So obviously, I hope Infinity Ward can pull off what they are capable of pulling off and go the right way. But I think by hyping it up this much, you're putting yourself in a situation where if it does disappoint, you're going to be made fun of in epic proportions. Call of Duty fans are definitely the type that will let you know if they don't like the game. And I think when you're already in a position where the game's not doing well, if you hype it up this much and it's disappointing, you're going to be bleeding players like somebody that just crashed into like a razor factory. And I don't want that to happen. You know, like I said, I enjoy Call of Duty. I want the franchise to do well. It's just not in a good spot. It's dying. I don't think it's doing a whole lot to stop itself dying. And while I hope Infinity Ward can come out to the bottom of the ninth, knock the grand slam, save the franchise, everyone will cheer and go, oh my gosh, thank you. I think it's a lot of pressure to put on one company, and it has the potential to backfire. Overall, though, like I said, I hope Call of Duty does well. I hope it's the greatest game ever. I hope this video makes me look like an idiot if you're watching it in 2 years. But I just felt like ranting and raving about Call of Duty, and I know this is an old news article. I meant to make it when it was like real news, alright? I know it's definitely a little bit past its prime in terms of when people were talking about it. I just forgot. I do want to start coming back to this channel. I've been lazy, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm working on it though. The grind should be coming back, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. But thank you all so much. Press the like button if you enjoyed the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I would really appreciate it. And you know what? While you're down there, you might as well comment and let me know if you think Call of Duty is dying. I'm curious to know what the people who watch this channel think. And yeah, on that note, that'll officially do it. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see each and every single one of you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.